What's going on, everybody? Your man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. Weird time of night for me to be up, but Chicago Sky lost one tonight to the Phoenix Mercury, so I had to bring my man, Michael Carotenuto, on the show. But before I bring him on, as I do each and every time, we need justice for Breonna Taylor. We need justice for Elijah McClain. We need justice for Vanessa Gillian. So let me go on and get him in here. My man, Mr. Michael Carotenuto, Believe He Podcast. I know he's got one dropping tomorrow. Mike, good evening. For me, it's almost good morning.
It is morning time for you.
Yeah, I think this is the latest you and I have ever been up since Los Angeles.
Well, I mean, for you, it's only 10 o'clock here, so.
Yeah, I know. So, Mike, hey, let me say this. I'm not going to sit here and say the better team won. What I will say to you, though, is when the rematch comes around, please be prepared. Because the Chicago Sky that you saw tonight is only going to be even more fired up when they play each other down the road.
They might be. I mean, it was no Brianna Hartley tonight either, who was obviously a person that's been a major contributor for the Mercury coming back. But I will say this. I mean, it's one of those things where the Sky had the early lead, and then the Mercury go on a run, and every time they get close, they're up by 14, and then there's 1, and then it's 13. And I mean, defensively, yeah, Brittany Griner, obviously nice to have that big in the middle. But man, they moved the ball, and Skylar Diggins-Smith, I mean, she definitely didn't have the best to shoot, and they shot 17 points. I mean, 5 for 11. But she's starting to fit in. And that big three, I mean, they're talking about throughout the broadcast, and LaChina Robinson brought up some good points. But, man, Diana Taurasi, when she just wants to start hitting shots, they just go down.
Believe me, I take nothing away from her. But I will say defensively, the Chicago Sky, they just had their moments where the ball just was not working in their favor. But I just got off the press conference with Coach Wade, and let me tell you something.
He was mad.
This man who has been very even keel, I saw a side of him. He was like, you know what? I'm going to say it. We're just not getting the calls. And it's happened on wins, and it's happened on losses. They're just not getting the calls that they should be getting. So for him to just have that type of moment, it just really brought to my eyes and to my attention how much he is invested in this team. And I didn't even realize this. He coaches some of these ladies, not just here, but globally. So this is a man truly invested.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, for Chicago in Russia, I mean, that's crazy. And I think it's one of the other side stories is how Phoenix's head coach is married to the assistant coach of the Sky.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I knew she was married, and I knew he coached, and it was just so funny. But for some reason, I thought he was coaching collegiately. So I was like, man, that's got to be tough for them. Like, granted, I know her season shouldn't have to be here year round, but still, but then when they showed it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. But yeah, no, he was pretty fired up. And I will stop you from saying, because I used to say it all the time too, calls they should get. Nobody should get any call. And watching, the NBA growing up, here's the thing. I'm not saying that they're not missed calls. I'll always agree with you on that.
Okay, fair enough. I'll call them missed calls.
There's never a should get a call, because I've watched games at times and I'm just like, what is wrong? And in real time, I'm like, and then you see the replay, but I haven't covered sports long enough. Once they show a replay, I could care less, because in slow motion, it doesn't look like anything's a foul. Doesn't look like anything hurts. Doesn't, look like anything could change anybody's momentum or direction, whatever. That being said, there were both ways a little bit early, because I think when the Sky got out to that early lead, the Mercury, they just seem very lackadaisical, even though they won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And now but when they want to turn it up defensively, and LaChina Robinson talked about it throughout the broadcast too. And I mean, they were talking about it throughout the broadcast, is just that no matter who's on the floor, it's one of those things where they can just shut it down. Yes, when Brittany Griner's in the middle, it does make a huge difference. I 100% agree with that. Um, but man, it's one of those things where you can't take it easy, because then when they get the offense going, and it's not just Taurasi and Griner. I mean, I know you know that, but for people that don't watch and just think, oh, well, yeah, they have Diana Taurasi, they should win.
Right.
Obviously, there's a lot of talented teams, but man, I mean, I can't say enough about what, like, just how they played overall. But yeah, he should be frustrated, because I think at times his team just settled for some shots, and not even because of Brittany Griner. I mean, Vandersloot, I think, hit that late three, and Griner's coming out there, and the ball had like the perfect arc. I always said when somebody taller than you is coming out, it actually does a shorter person a favor. Maybe it doesn't, but in my eyes, because it's like, oh, it's going to force you not to overshoot it, but you have that perfect arc, and Vandersloot hit that three right over her. And man, I mean, just the way the feistiness of this team. I mean,
Oh, both teams. Listen,
yeah,
I take nothing away from Phoenix. I knew going into this, especially watching the Sky this whole entire season, and granted, it's only 6 games, but still watching them all 6 games and just seeing how they have battled back from being down 10, being down 12, being down 13, 14. I just know that, okay, they're going to get it together. And, salute to Quigley. That's about as damn near perfection as it's going to get. Now, you also have Gabby Williams and Azuri Stevens. They've played each other both on the collegiate level, and now they're playing together here in the Sky. So when you have those combinations, oh, and let me not forget, and I'm going to say this to you, please pray to your Phoenix Mercury gods that Diamond to Shield is not 100%, because I'm telling you right now, she's going to give Taurasi a run for her money if she's back at 100% the next time these two teams play each other, because
I'm not,
Diamond is slowly getting herself back to being where she needs to be.
she's fighting through it, and I love to see it. I don't disagree, but I mean, look at somebody off the bench. Like I said, I mean, Turner wasn't available, but Shatori Walker Kimbrough,
Oh
the
my
girl
God.
out of
Yes.
Maryland, she blew
Yes.
up tonight. And then
She did.
you
She
get
stepped up because she had to.
yeah, and I mean, Sandy Brondello, the head coach, she said that, she wasn't happy with her defensive, because I mean, I said to you before it started that they could definitely, there's no reason why this team, especially with the addition of Skylar Diggins Smith, that there's no reason why they couldn't win it. And Diana Taurasi, I mean, the coach ripped into him about their defense and said the first 2 games that they were just playing like a bunch of punks and they weren't doing anything good. And now they've rattled off 4 in a row. And LaChina Robinson brought up a great point. She's like, if when they lock in on defense and people, and the play-by-play announcer was saying, a lot of fouls. And again, they got a little feisty. So I think the refs started blowing the whistle a little more because there's a little chirping going on.
Listen, it definitely got chippy down there. There's no question about it.
But China Robinson made the point that, like, you just get to the point where if you don't contain them, you're not outscoring Phoenix. She's like, I know it's only 6 games, and they kept saying that. It's 5 games, but now 6. And they, like I said, with what they had, and again, I didn't know Brianna Turner would step up like that. I mean, Sophie Cunningham, this girl, like, after Taurasi said they were playing like punks, she pretty much took it to heart, because defensively, to me, when she's been on the court, or
right,
she went into the starting lineup, pardon me, but whoever she's on, she's locking down. Like, I mean, it is a team effort, as you know, to overstate the obvious, Eric. But man, again, it's 4 in a row. I mean, they had to win today because the Suns won and they're 4-0 now. So the Mercury had to win 4 in a row.
Okay. All right. I mean, if that's the avenue you want to go.
Hey, I know we're talking WNBA, and I love it
fine.
but
no, I love the correlation.
The Suns. I mean, 4-0, and Indiana. I mean, they look. Devin Booker, that shot in Reggie and Paul George's face was sick. I mean, he was right there. It fouled him probably. The whistle's not going to blow, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, I mean, and what the Mercury did tonight too. I mean, the funny thing about the Suns going 4-0, if they win 4 more and go 8-0, they still might not get into the playing game, which is funny. But it's great experience, like you and I, like we've talked about earlier. I mean, it's a young team. They have sucked. I mean, they've tanked. They've done this. They've done that. They fired coaches. Monty Williams, I love the hire. How's it going in the right direction? Devin Booker. Hey, you might not fully make the playoffs. Hey, even if they get in the play-in and they lose, rock on. Like, good for them. But On the
It's a
other
step
side
in
of
the
that,
right direction.
yeah, and on the other side of that, my segue and correlation is the Mercury have been champs. Tarasi's been a champ. So she knows, again, they will see each other again. And, Brittany Griner again, Brittany Griner, it's crazy to me because even in the NBA when, dudes miss layups and I get there's somebody on them and they may have bumped them, but you're like literally like touching it off the glass and you miss it. Like I'll never understand that. I'll never understand it.
Because
But
we're not, Mike, listen, we're
we're
not
not
that height. We're not,
exactly.
you and me, we got to wear the pump shoes and get it up there. And hey, by the
Absolutely.
way, let me just say this, great minds think alike. I didn't realize we're both wearing Batman shirts.
Oh yeah, I just see yours. Yep, absolutely. Look at that.
Yes, great minds think alike.
I
Hey,
know.
that's
Batman
going to do it
rocks.
for me and my man, Mr. Michael Carotenuto.
Hey,
Congrats on your
tonight,
victory.
real quick, the Mercury was Batman and the Sky
Oh,
were Robin. That's all I'm
come
gonna
on.
say.
Okay.
Hey, I told you
All right.
they'd win.
All right. You were right. You were right. I just know now I'm not talking to you next time they play each other until after the game. Hey, much love, brother. Thank you for doing this with me. Your man, Eric Wilson. Make sure you check out my man, Michael Carotenuto, the Believe podcast coming, dropping out tomorrow. Who's your guest that you guys had on?
Actually, no guest this week. We actually are touching on the way too early because after we did top 5 guards last week, but we did the way too early top 25 rankings.
Okay.
And where Pac-12 teams are, how they'll stack up, stuff like that. So we kind of go off and talk about some other, like how could the landscape of college sports, but just basically where they've ended up. And ASU's ended up in pretty much all the rankings in some spots. So pretty stoked about that.
Awesome. Make sure you guys check that out tomorrow. My man, Michael Carotenuto, your man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. Mike, have a great night. It is early morning for me. I'll talk to you soon, brother. Everybody be safe. Wash your hands, social distance. We love y'all. Peace.